Hello everyone, it's another Tuesday. It's time for my favorite things. Um, by the way, this is Nareen's Life with MS. This is Nareen over here. And in episode 8 or episode 2 of my favorite things series, I kept thinking about it all day about what would I categorize as my favorite thing after sleep, because sleep is like all the way up here. Nothing really gets very close to it, but I'd say you know there are definitely things, and I'd say we can do something that is not activity related, or actually it is probably the most activity related, which is food. I love food. I think everyone who knows me might say that the one thing I do is I love food. I describe my days with certain foods, um, just depending on how the day went, and it just so happens that that ends up being sort of how um, I see my worldview, right? um, I think one character that I really connect with on that level is maybe Liz Lemon from 30 Rock, or even Leslie No from Parks and Recreation, or Ron Swanson for that matter, because they are just at least a certain portion of their livelihoods depends on what food it is. So now, in terms of what I like eating, I've got you know I tend to eat everything. If I don't like something, I will continue to eat it until I like it. Sometimes I do it the other way around, where if I like something, I continue to eat it until I don't like it, and that has happened in the past. But I would say food is definitely one of my favorite things. And as far as food goes, I mean, all tastes are palatable to me. I like to have food that makes me sweat. I like food that makes my mouth curl, my tongue numb. Of course, I do have the biggest sweet tooth as well, so it's always a fun thing to talk about food. So definitely, if you do connect with me on a personal level, or if you do meet me in person, let's definitely talk about food, because it is definitely one of my favorite things. And I'd say that considering that food is such a big part of our lives, and this is where the MS part comes in, is that being careful with what you end up eating is very, very important, right? I mean, right now I tend to have a diet that consists mostly of foods that do not cause a lot of inflammation in my body. So there are a lot of vegetables. I tend to also have a lot of but then on the same side, I also end up having a lot of protein. um, Also, a lot of my food, despite me technically telling people that I'm a strict non-vegetarian, I also have a lot of my diet is actually plant-based. I generally tend to have um, a bowl of salad with every lunch, and then my dinner also has stir-fried vegetables alongside soup. Many a times the soup is usually plant-based, anything from tomato to spinach to even to pumpkin soup. So I end up having a lot of um, vegetables. Of course, I love fruits. I mean, there was a time in the past where my breakfast would only consist of fruits. fruits going anywhere from apples to any number of berries, and that too being actually part of the berry family, like watermelon for example. um, and of course, getting as many colors on my plate as possible. So that is generally one of my favorite things that I did want to talk about. I think if I really don't come up with something next week, I think I can continue this conversation, because I really don't think that talking about it for 5 minutes does food justice. I mean, it does not do justice for sleep either, but I think this is one that I can definitely say for sure is one thing that I can continue talking about. But thank you so much for listening in, and definitely if you do have certain definitely comment on what your favorite food is, whether or not you're allowed to have it on a regular basis, just depending on your health. And be it that it's maybe on the unhealthy side, or maybe it's a little too healthy for you. I mean, those kinds of things do end up happening. So definitely do share your experiences, and let's make the comment section pop. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.